We're live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, brought to you by Green Lamb Laminates. Viewers, there's been an embarrassing meltdown. Yes, I'm afraid to say yet again in the opposition ranks that underlines its fragility. This time it is the AAP and the Congress that have had a most unseemly public spat. The AAP has gone to the extent of delivering an ultimatum to the Congress. The AAP says if the Congress doesn't punish one of its senior most leaders, Ajay Maken in Delhi, it will have the Congress thrown out of the India bloc. In other words, the AAP will call upon all the other members of the India bloc to gang up against the Congress and kick the Congress out of the India bloc. Stage a coup really against the Congress. The charges levelled against the Congress are extraordinarily serious and threaten to reduce not just the credibility of the party but also prompt several questions about the grand old party's commitment to constitutionalism. Listen, viewers, to Atishi Marlena, the Chief Minister of Delhi, as she rolls out the charges against the Congress.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी कांग्रेस के प्रत्याशियों की फंडिंग कर रही है। इसमें प्रमुख संदीप दीक्षित जी हैं, जिनको भारतीय जनता पार्टी से ऐसा सुनने में आया है कि फंड मिल रहा है। इनमें प्रमुख फरहाद सूरी हैं, जो जंगपुरा से चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं और सुनने में आया है कि उनको भारतीय जनता पार्टी से करोड़ों में फंड आ रहा है। आम आदमी पार्टी को हराने के लिए सांठगांठ करी है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जिताने के लिए सांठगांठ करी है। अगर कांग्रेस पार्टी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को नहीं जिताना चाहती, अगर उनकी भारतीय जनता पार्टी से सांठगांठ नहीं है, तो फिर वो अगले 24 घंटे में अजय माकन के खिलाफ एक्शन लें, जिन्होंने अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को एंटी नेशनल कहा। और अगर कांग्रेस पार्टी अपने नेताओं के खिलाफ एक्शन नहीं लेती है, तो फिर आम आदमी पार्टी इंडिया गठबंधन के बाकी सभी घटक दलों से बात करेगी कि कांग्रेस पार्टी के साथ अब एक अलायंस में नहीं रहा जा सकता।
What has triggered the Aam Aadmi Party is a Congress complaint, in fact not one but two, against Arvind Kejriwal, accusing him of, quote, misleading and deceiving, unquote, the public with promises of, quote, non-existent, unquote, welfare schemes. Recent remarks made by Ajay Maken that the Congress's decision to support the, quote, anti-national, unquote, AAP in 2013 led to its decline in Delhi has only rubbed salt into the wounds. In the first complaint, the Youth Congress's chief has written to the police saying, AAP collecting sensitive personal data including voter ID details and phone numbers for non-existent schemes. The Delhi government's Women and Child Development Department had publicly distanced itself from the initiative, clarifying that no such scheme existed. This unequivocally establishes that the AAP has engaged in fraudulent practices, thereby breaching the trust of the people of Delhi, unquote. So that was one of the complaints. Another complaint was made by Sandeep Dikshit, who is the son of former Delhi Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit, who Arvind Kejriwal defeated, if you remember, viewers, back in 2013. And in his complaint, this time to the Lieutenant Governor, he has said, and I quote, I have received information from some bureaucrats and police officers serving in the Punjab government, who obviously do not want their names to be revealed, that the AAP government in Punjab has been transferring cash in crores, from various locations in Punjab to Delhi. I have checked this information from my own officials in Punjab government who have confirmed my information. He also goes on to say, quote, AAP has deputed senior state intelligence officials from Punjab to spy on me. This has been confirmed to me by certain contacts in the Punjab government setup, unquote, viewers. The AAP's move comes close on the heels of the Trinamool Congress upping the ante against the Congress over leadership issues after its losses in Haryana and Maharashtra elections. Trinamool leaders had pitched Mamata Banerjee as the leader of the bloc. The call was widely supported by other members of the alliance. Viewers, let me just run you through and refresh your memory about what Mamata Banerjee has recently said. She said the Congress is unable to keep up with alliance partners. I can run alliance from Bengal, unquote. This is what she said. Lalu Prasad said, yes, Mamata should be given responsibility to lead the India bloc. Akhilesh Yadav said, if the Congress spreads confusion on seats and key issues, who will stand with them? Complete loss of faith, confidence, call it what you want, in the Congress. IP Singh of the Samajwadi Party says Rahul Gandhi may be 55, but he acts like a juvenile. Very strong, very, very strong reactions. Omar Abdullah, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister, very close to Rahul Gandhi at one level. If you don't trust EVMs, he says, don't fight the polls. So completely puncturing the EVM balloon, excuse, bahana, call it what you want to, that the Congress constantly throws up. The Shiv Sena UBT in Samna has said, arrogance of Congress's Maharashtra unit to blame for the poll defeat, unquote. This spat between now the AAP and the Congress is most unfortunate. It is also betrayal, viewers, of public trust, of us. Let's never forget that a strong, responsible and united opposition is an essential feature of a fully functioning democracy. Some even say the strength of a democracy is judged by the effectiveness of the opposition. The opposition is tasked by us to hold the government accountable because it is well known that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Continuous ego clashes, one-upmanship and a slide to the bottom of the moral and ethics plane is to trivialize public and frankly national interest, viewers, and that's what's happening in the India alliance on a daily basis. The incidents raise some very big questions, and let's ask these questions of our panel tonight, viewers. Let's open this up. This is an important debate because, as I told you, at stake really is the future of our democracy. If the India alliance is going to be this rabble that can't see eye to eye, we've got a massive problem. Massive problem. We're also hoping for the Congress to be represented on this panel via Sanjay Jha. We're hoping that he will be connected soon. I want to first begin with the AAP. And I wish Sanjay Jha had been here actually to listen to your response. But let me bring in the AAP today. A very good evening to you. Ms. Gupta, the question is simple. The Congress says your meltdown is a sign of a desperate attempt to find scapegoats to pin the blame for your loss, impending loss. In fact, Sandeep Dixit told this to me earlier today, and I will play out some excerpts of that conversation I had with him in just a few moments. The Congress says, if it was with the BJP, and if it was the BJP's B team, why did you tie up with it in the 2024 Lok Sabha polls? Can you answer this question?
See, the Lok Sabha polls alliance was for a larger good for the country, where we wanted to protect the constitution. Bharatiya Janata Party सारे में बोल रही थी कि 400 पार चाहिए. They wanted to change the constitution. We followed the dharma of the alliance. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal campaigned for all the Congress candidates in Delhi and Chandigarh. But now, Mr. Ajay Maken cannot go around saying that Arvind Kejriwal ji is an anti-national. अगर उनकी लड़ाई है तो उनकी लड़ाई होनी चाहिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी से. ये कोई नई बात नहीं है. कांग्रेस हरियाणा में भी चुनाव इसी वजह से हारी, because they are not able to discipline their state leaders, they are not able to control the infighting, and we see the same thing happening in Delhi. As far as the Congress is concerned, they are nowhere in Delhi. एक इनके पास ढंग के 4 कैंडिडेट नहीं है, इनके पास कोई कार्यकर्ता नहीं है, पिछले 10 सालों से एक एमएलए भी नहीं है, और अब बिल्कुल क्लियर हो चुका है कि वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बी टीम की तरह काम कर रहे हैं, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की भाषा बोल रहे हैं.
कब से कर रहे हैं?
नहीं तो
Since when have they been the B team?
Since the time that they decided to contest the Delhi elections. नहीं तो आप देखिए ना, today the issue is about Sahab Singh Barma's
So are you saying, ma'am, are you saying that all these protests that are going on in parliament, etc., these are all just staged for optics? There's no substance to them. It's tokenism, opposition for the sake of opposition, but actually they're all, in cahoots with Modi, that Rahul Gandhi and Modi have some private, I don't know, back channel bonding going on? What exactly are you saying, Reena Gupta? Because this is not sounding very, how should one put it? I mean, it's not sounding, I mean, you know, it's sounding infirm actually.
Why is
Logically
it sounding infirm, Rahul? Why is it
No, but
sounding
I can't
infirm?
understand, Ms. Gupta, that are you saying that Rahul Gandhi, who wears, you know, the Ambedkar poster, or before that the Adani shirt, etc., is basically just doing this for, I don't know, effect? Because actually they are all in cahoots with each other. I mean, that doesn't quite square up, does it?
No, I'm not saying that. I am saying that the Congress party, their central leadership, is not able to discipline their state leaders. And we saw the same thing happening in West Bengal as well. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary was the one who was abusing Mamta ji, even though there was an alliance. So,
No, but if
what
that
I'm
was the
saying is
case,
that-
why is the
Can I
TMC
complete-
asking
can I
for
just
Rahul
complete my
Gandhi?
thought?
No,
Can I
if that
complete
is
my
the case,
thought?
then why
Then
is
ask
the
your
TMC
question.
asking
Let
for?
me complete my
finish,
thought,
yeah,
please.
Finish.
What I'm saying is that every political party has a right to contest. Congress has a right to contest in Delhi, but Congress should decide whether their real enemy is Bharatiya Janata Party or their enemy is Aam Aadmi Party. The way they are behaving right now, they are only helping Bharatiya Janata Party, and that is the reason that we are saying that they are working as B team of Bharatiya
Okay,
Janata Party.
let me ask you, Ms. Gupta. Final question before I open this up. Sanjay Jha is there, Pradeep Bhandari is also there, and of course, political analyst and serial fellow of the IPS is also there, IPCS is also there, Abhijit Mitra. They're all keen observers of politics, have views, strong ones at that. Ms. Gupta, I just want to ask you this question because I find it strange that you say, okay, there's a disconnect between the center and the state level. But some of your own partners, the TMC, Lalu Prasad, Akhilesh, are all saying Rahul is the problem. So if Rahul is the problem, he's not just sprung up on the scene overnight, yesterday, day before, or after the election. He's been there with the party all through, and your alliance was with Rahul Gandhi at the national level. So the same problem manifested itself in, you know, May, June 2024. Same problem manifests itself, and you continue to hold their hand, etc., etc. I don't understand what's going on here. This is really spinning me.
So I think it's the culture of the party and the central leadership
Right.
that they are not able to discipline and speak the same language.
Okay.
Because I mean, if Ajay Maken in Delhi is saying that Arvind Kejriwal is an anti-national, does Rahul Gandhi agree with that? If he doesn't, then he needs to discipline.
No, but he's not
Ajay
in the
Maken.
opposition. So why do you think that he is actually saying something that doesn't hold ground? Maybe he's saying the truth. And you've got a problem with the truth. Maybe, I don't know. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha. Sandeep Dikshit is also going to be joining us in just a few moments. Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you. The AAP says that the party is basically headless. It is not in charge at the state level. That it is a liability in any alliance because of this disconnect between the head and the tail, or the body and the head. And that you are the B team of the BJP. In fact, two of your tallest leaders in Delhi, and clearly the center has fielded them because it thinks that they can win the election, are actually in the pockets of the BJP. They're funded by the BJP. This opens two or three questions. And the first one being, of course, that has the Congress now been totally exposed as a liability in the India bloc? With your last remaining big ally, and you just heard Ms. Gupta, and I deliberately pressed on with the question so she would go into the minutiae of her grievances and her party's grievances with Congress. So, I mean, why shouldn't anyone call the India bloc today out as this opportunistic rabble without a moral backbone? You're taking money from here, you're, kind of running down your own allies. What's going on?
Rahul, good evening to you and to,
Yes, sir.
and to the fellow panelists of mine. I have a lot of respect for Reena because I think she's one of the more nuanced spokespersons from Aam Aadmi Party, and I think she usually makes a very pertinent point. I would just like to take your memory back to the time when the Congress got annihilated in Delhi. And what has happened to the Congress is that there is a lot of internal angst over the fact that the entire legacy of Sheila Dikshit, who, frankly speaking, built New Delhi literally from ground up, was devastated and completely, shall we say, blown apart by the Aam Aadmi Party's successful political campaign. But in politics, you got to move on. I agree that the Congress has every reason to believe that it was done in by a very aggressive campaign by Arvind Kejriwal as part of IAC and later on AAP. But today, I will agree with Reena to a great extent that although the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress and the BJP it's in a tripartite contest, the truth remains that the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party have to recognize the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is, frankly speaking, a more authoritarian Narendra Modi government at the center. And the two common elements, and I want to draw your attention to that, where both Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress will completely agree, is the abuse of state power by the BJP, which has hurt both the Congress and AAP. And take the classic example of the Enforcement Directorate, and take also the example of the Election Commission, which has clearly been up to a lot of sleight of hand political tactics. So here is the truth. The truth is that the Congress party has to reconcile to the reality. It's got an uphill battle in
Sir,
there.
Sanjay Jha, look, the fundamental point is that there is a person picked by Rahul Gandhi to take on Kejriwal from a very influential seat. His name is Sandeep Dikshit. He has a great legacy, as in he is the political heir of Sheila Dikshit, who was one of the long-serving stellar Delhi chief ministers. And he is saying that the choice is between the BJP and a deceitful, anti-national party that abuses its power in office to fool voters. And he has taken a complaint to the Lieutenant Governor. The Youth Congress has gone to the police. Are you saying that these people are liars? That, Ajay Maken and the others like Sandeep Dikshit, who you must also know and must have respect for, are liars? That they're doing this at the behest of somebody else? Because that's what the AAP is saying. This has crossed all boundaries now.
Okay, Rahul, let me answer you very succinctly. Because both Ajay and Sandeep happen to be good friends of mine. Let me tell you, and I want to also tell them through your show, that the Congress in this election must fight it on the politics of development alternatives.
No, forget that, sir. They are saying that for Delhi to be developed, we need to get rid of the AAP. It is anti-national. It is deceitful. It is using its time in office. It's abusing its power to fool people with schemes. And Sandeep Dikshit told me that the charge under the old IPC, and he says, quote unquote, I can't quite remember the code under the BNS, is 420. Cheating.
Well, I can tell you one thing, the Congress party, including Sandeep and Ajay, by making these very absurd and atrocious comments, very the BJP vocabulary, calling Arvind Kejriwal anti-national is frankly ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
The Congress should not indulge in stooping low to counter.
Viewers, but they are. They are. So has the Congress lost all credibility? See, either one of them is wrong. Either it's the AAP or it's the Congress. It can't be both. This is bizarre, viewers. I'm telling you, it's bizarre. I started by saying this is an epic meltdown. We don't know what is happening. The alternatives are squabbling. The alternatives to the BJP are saying that each other can't be trusted. If they don't trust each other, how do they expect the voter to trust them? This is crazy, viewers. I've never seen this in Indian politics. I mean, I've been covering politics since I was 20. 30 years it's been. I have not come across a situation like this where two people who were 6 months ago best friends, who were till 2 days ago best friends, are today trading charges like this. Pradeep Bhandari, what is going on? Let me bring in the BJP before I bring in Mr. Mitra.
Well, Rahul,
I mean, if you don't win now, Mr. Bhandari, with these two, I mean, I'm sorry, you won't win at all. Delhi for the next 10 years. If you can't take advantage of this, sorry, but I mean, you've got it on a platter.
Well, Rahul, if you recall and remember, many of you used to say that we could never win Odisha. We won Odisha with Mr. Naveen Patnaik at the helm of affairs. We still won Odisha. We won it convincingly. We never give up on any election, Rahul. But let me recall and tell your viewers what happened on December 23rd, 2024. Do you remember, Rahul, what happened on December 23rd, 2024?
Yeah.
A very, very important event happened.
Yes.
It's related to this. Mr. Manish Tiwari did a joint press conference with the Aam Aadmi Party saying that we will fight the Chandigarh mayor elections together.
Yeah.
And now, just in 72 hours, you have the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party fighting against each other. Because the truth of the matter, Rahul, is that both the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party know that they are sitting in the opposition. First of all, it is very clear, Rahul, there are 2 points to it. A, that Aam Aadmi Party is facing a massive anti-incumbency on the ground. Because the Aam Aadmi Party till a week back was saying that the Congress Party is a non-entity in Delhi. And the truth is the Congress Party is a non-entity in Delhi with only 5% of vote share on the table in the last 2 elections.
Yeah.
But despite that, the Aam Aadmi Party is so scared of losing Delhi that they are making Congress attacking the Aam Aadmi Party a larger election issue. That is number one. Allow me 30 seconds.
Go
Point
ahead.
number 2. The reality is that even a party like Aam Aadmi Party, which is not even 1/10 the size of the Congress Party, shows Rahul Gandhi its true place, saying that Rahul Gandhi, if you do not do anything, we will throw you out of the India alliance. Imagine Aam Aadmi Party with only election, with government in Delhi, which is a quasi-state, and Punjab is saying to Congress Party that we will throw you out of the India alliance. This is how people in the India alliance treat Rahul Gandhi. And this is what we had predicted before the Lok Sabha elections. The Prime Minister had said that this India alliance, which is a media creation, will fall apart. And this is why the people of India reject them, because they do not have any common ground. And Rahul, on a technical point, all of them fight for the same vote, which is the Tushtikaran vote. The Congress Party...
That's
got
a separate
defeated
issue. That's a separate issue. Let's not... No, one second. Today, it's about clarity. The Delhi voter, in fact, the national voter doesn't know. Mr. Iyer
They don't
Mitra,
care.
I'll bring you in.
Rahul,
I'll bring
they
you
don't
in,
care
man.
about them
One
because they
second.
know these are all an
One second,
part of
Mr.
the
Bhandari.
anti-national opposition.
Okay, 1 second. Just 1 second. I want to bring in Ms. Gupta. Ms. Gupta, 1 second. I think you're on mute. First of all, I don't know, something's wrong, but I can't hear you. Your lips are moving, but I can't hear you. Just, can you bear with me for 30 seconds? Let me bring in Mr. Mitra. He's waited quite a long time, and after that, you can come in. No problems with that. Just give me 30 seconds. I want to bring in Mr. Mitra. Mr. Mitra, as I said, a responsible opposition, and this is certainly sounding like a rabble, not a responsible opposition, is needed in our democracy. We should actually be, in some ways, goading these individuals to come together, close ranks. But I think we're benefiting from this business of exposing each other, because now we really know who what is made of.
So, Rahul, the problem is in their public speeches, they all say they're convinced they can defeat Modi. But they've lost 3 elections in a row now, and they probably realize now that they can't defeat Modi. So what you're seeing now is classic resource competition and the cannibalism that goes with it. You see, what happened in the general election this time was that the Congress staged a remarkable comeback in Punjab. We thought the Congress had been wiped out, and it came back with such a bang. It's probably going to swallow the AAP alive in the next election, the state election that happens in Punjab. Now, they believe that they can pull off the same thing in Delhi as well. The issue, of course, is all of this suits the BJP perfectly well. The BJP isn't in any position to gain anything in Punjab out of it, but Delhi they absolutely are. Now, what can the Congress do to its party worker in Delhi when the Congress party worker here is saying we need to contest, we need to contest? They can't say, no, we're going to swallow it for the national cause. But you see, at the same time, if the Congress contests this election properly, as in if they put up a fight, unlike, when Pradeep was saying in the last 2 elections where they only got 5%, then it is advantage BJP, because a two-way split of the anti-BJP vote benefits the BJP, right? Now, all of this means that the Congress, if they're really serious about defeating Modi, they need to take one for the team and say we're not really going to contest. But that doesn't seem to be the case, because realistically they can't tell their party workers. That will mean the complete dissolution of the Delhi party. So what do? This is the classic case. This is why was it in the 9-seat by-election you saw in UP? Where was the India Alliance at that point of time?
None. No, nowhere.
None.
Only SP. SP said,
Only
please.
SP. Only SP. So this is the classic case where the internal contradictions, they start blooming and they reach a criticality at that point.
But Mr. Mitra, this is very strange, and I want to bring in Ms. Gupta also. Let me just flesh this out a little bit. 3 days ago, one of the Politburo members of the CPM comes out and says that Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi in Wayanad won on the back of communal Muslim Islamist support. These were not my words, exactly his words. Please look it up, viewers.
Yes.
He used the word communal, Muslim, Islamist support, hardliners, saying if you look at the front and the back of their processions, that's all you'll see. This is another ally. Mamata Banerjee says, get rid of Rahul Gandhi. I'll lead the alliance and we'll do something about it. Samajwadi Party says thumbs up. Lalu says thumbs up. Today, AAP is saying there's a massive problem. And I want to come to Reena Gupta. You've, tried to, at least you're sane enough, madam. And as perhaps, Sanjay Jha has said, that you are nuanced enough to draw a distinction between the center and the state, at least giving yourself a fig leaf. But if tomorrow, Maken doesn't apologize, what's going to happen? Are you going to say this is still a state level issue? Obviously, he's not going to apologize because he has the full backing of the center of Rahul Gandhi. Then what do you do?
We have already said that if Maken doesn't apologize, then we will talk to other partners, alliance partners in the India alliance, and we will see what course of action needs to be taken.
You said throw them out. I mean, that's what Mr. Atishi Marlena said. Throw them, I'll kick you out, she said.
But Rahul, as far as the Delhi elections are concerned,
Yeah.
Congress and Bharatiya Janata Party are nowhere. It is Aam Aadmi Party all the way.
No, that's
You
okay.
see-
I'm not getting into all of
No,
that.
no,
Ma'am,
can-
see,
can I-
this is not that debate. This is not
That
that
is the
debate. This
real
is a much
issue.
more
Rahul,
fundamental debate. This is
Rahul,
about
that was
democracy.
hypocritical
It is about the stake of democracy, yes. Mr. Bhandari,
Can I come
quickly.
in?
I'm sure you'll win, ma'am. I'm sure.
No, can
Rahul,
I
you not-
complete?
Rahul, there is-
The real
Can I come
issue
in for
today
10?
is-
One second, let her
Can I-
finish.
Can I complete? The real issue today is that the Bharatiya Janata Party is so rattled, they have started distributing cash for votes.
Ma'am, look,
And
if some
Congress should be complaining against
private
that.
leader wants to give cash from his hard-earned money and he has the, I don't know, you've gone to the ED, hope there is an investigation, I would call out for one. But in case it is his hard-earned money and he wants to give it to whoever,
giving
that is his problem.
Rahul.
I mean,
He's
if he
giving
wants
out
to, if he
money
wants to bet on that
with
because
the
he's feeling
photograph
sorry for
with
the
the
people
Prime
out there, that's
Minister.
his call.
Rahul,
He can be
Rahul.
charitable, but that's not the issue today.
No,
The
no
issue
charity
is,
in
viewers,
India is
the
allowed to
issue is,
distribute money like that.
no, okay, that's fine.
No
You can please
charity
take
is
it up.
allowed to
Go to the
distribute
police.
money for
Go to the
political
police.
reasons.
Mr. Bhandari wants to
Rahul.
respond to you on that charge. Go to the police. There should be an ED
Rahul.
investigation. Yes, go ahead.
It's too rich coming from a party which has not deposited 1,000 rupees in the women of Punjab from the last 2.5 years. But let me come to the moot point. Rahul, are you not thinking that the Aam Aadmi Party is doing another melodrama? It was Ajay Maken who had filed the primary complaint on the entire charge of the liquor scam in which Arvind Kejriwal had gone to jail. And despite that, Arvind Kejriwal did the alliance with the Congress Party.
Okay.
Did Ajay Maken...
No, let me bring in the man of the match right now. Man of the moment. I don't know who the man of the match will be. Man of the moment. Let's bring in the man of the moment. Sanjay Jha, listen to this. Mr. Dikshit, thank you very much for speaking to me. You are making certain charges, complaints really. You've gone to the LG. What are these complaints, Mr. Dikshit?
Okay, I'll just take a couple of minutes
Yeah.
doing that. If you remember, some time back, the Aam Aadmi Party started talking about this Mahila Samman Yojana, where they said that they will give 2,100 rupees to every woman every month. And that's fine. Every party can make a promise. It may be a promise you can fulfill or not. That's not the issue. And we have no problem with whatever wish you make. We will make our counter wishes. But they made another statement. They started saying that they already have a scheme going in which they are giving 1,000 rupees per month for every woman. That will come into their bank accounts before the election. And after the election, it will be increased to 2,100. So they made a fundamental difference between a promise and a scheme that is already under execution. Otherwise, money will not come into your pocket. And you also know that in government, until there is an administrative approval and a financial approval, not a single rupee can go into anybody's pocket. Having said that, it became quite clear that they have already implemented a Mahila Mukhyamantri scheme, and perhaps they will increase the money after the election. So the 2,100 promise was not the issue. What we started questioning was that we said that this is nothing but a political gimmick just before elections, because they had made a similar promise in Punjab which they did not implement. They've been in Punjab for 2.5 years. They could have also implemented the same scheme in Delhi because it was an Aam Aadmi Party scheme and they had not done that. And we constantly kept saying that there is a Congress credibility because we have done that in our southern states. In fact, even BJP has implemented similar schemes in Maharashtra and in Madhya Pradesh. This criticism was going on when suddenly we were surprised yesterday when the Delhi government, and Atishi is Chief Minister of Delhi government, so basically you can almost say that she herself printed an advertisement contradicting herself, where the advertisement said that this is a fraud, no such scheme has found any sanction, there is no such scheme that is existing. So clearly Atishi Marlene, the Chief Minister of Delhi, and Mr. Kejriwal are perpetrating a total fraud on the people of Delhi, and that's not what I'm saying, that's what their advertisements are saying.
Fraud.
I took a letter to the LG to say that an inquiry should be instituted.
Wow.
If this is really a fraud, then this statement that there is an ongoing scheme that will give them rupees 1,000 a month comes under the category of the earlier Indian Penal Code of section 420. What it has changed to now, I don't know. So action should be taken against them. The police should be requested to stop Aam Aadmi Party from doing this kind of action all over Delhi, because it is perpetrating a fraud. And also, since the scheme does not exist, on what basis are they going around and fooling people, and under the false pretext of a scheme collecting personal data? And this personal data,
Mr. Dikshit, the Delhi Chief Minister is also saying that you have been bought out by the BJP. That's why you're sounding a lot like them.
okay, let me first state that I think the critique of the government that was made yesterday by Mr. Maken is nothing new. I mean, I don't know whether you've ever followed me, but for the last 10 years, I've been severely criticizing the misgovernance of Aam Aadmi Party.
Yeah.
I'm the only person who's tried to destroy their education and health model. The BJP, in fact, has never said anything of what I've said. Very often, they take data from me and quote. So I think if somebody is setting a script, whether it is something that is popular in Delhi or not, I think I'm the one who's been setting that script. So I don't think this charge holds against me. As far as the BJP is concerned, I think I've been a bitter critique of BJP. I don't attack personalities. I don't go, as vicious and as, almost using words that should not be used in politics the way Aam Aadmi Party uses, or the way Kejriwal, use words against my late mother or against Congress leaders or others. I don't get into that kind of nonsense. But I think I've been more critical of BJP than the Aam Aadmi put together has ever been. Thirdly, they are in government. If they believe that there is an iota of truth in the fact that I have any alliance with the BJP, why don't they prove it? And Rahulji, you've seen in the past 10-12 years, Atishi herself, Mr. Sisodia, Mr. Kejriwal have made the most vicious allegations against my late mother, against Congress leadership. The kind of rumors they've spread about me, almost everybody knows. And I've been asking them constantly that you are a bunch of liars, you are a bunch of people who have only perpetrated fraud. Why don't you prove a single statement against me or my late mother or my party? They've not been able to do that. So for somebody that has continuously spoken lies for almost 10-12 years, what is the reason that anything else said by them against me should ever be believed?
Prove your charge, you're saying. Prove your charge. You use the word fraud not once, not twice, but 3 times, Mr. Dikshit. Thank you very much for speaking to me. This story, viewers, is telling us that there is a massive problem within the India bloc, that only power, opportunism are the glue. There is no vision, there is no mission, there is no absolute endeavor to serve the public interest. This is about self-serving, and they can go to any lengths, even coming out and making claims against the other, threatening each other with expulsion, even ready to stake the alliance. Viewers, this marks a very cynical turn in Indian politics, and it is coming 6 months, barely 6 months after the Lok Sabha election. We're just a few days away from 2025. And if you really want to see the government being held to account, you have to be concerned about the state of the India bloc. And I have a feeling, viewers, the only way now forward is for it actually to formally disband. At least there, and then they will, at least individually, they will want to pick on the government, try to buttonhole it on myriad of different issues. They can try floor coordination in the parliament, but right now, viewers, since they're exposing each other, they're giving a free run to the BJP, and that, as you know, viewers, one party getting a free run is never good. It's never good. And I'm saying this, viewers, because at the end of the day, it's our interest that matters. Think about it. Think about it. Let's move on, because there is another very important issue. And this issue, viewers, actually basically makes us the plural society, the democratic society we are. And if we give in now, there's going to be a problem. Muslim organizations and some opposition parties have begun to express outrage over the sale of Salman Rushdie's The Satanic Verses in India. This ecosystem is now demanding a ban from the Modi government on the sale of the book in the name of protecting Islam from blasphemy. And viewers, more importantly, the threat of violence. So they are saying that if this book is continually sold in this country, there will be violence because Muslims will not appreciate this and they will resort to violence. Expect also, quote, secular, unquote, liberals to add voice to these calls for the ban. Expect that whole brigade, viewers, who write letters, who return their awards in the name of freedom of expression, free speech, and plurality and secularism, to also join this ban. Yes, it's going to be very, very ironic, but viewers, it will happen. Trust me. But first, let me tell you the grounds on which this demand is being made for a ban. Yasub Abbas, the All India Shia Personal Law Board member, says if this book comes out, there is a danger it might disturb the communal atmosphere in India. Shahabuddin Razvi, All India Muslim Jamaat, says Rushdie is an enemy of Islam. Publishers of his book will be responsible for the spread of violence. Both now invoke violence, viewers, like they did in Sambal, by the way. So the court has come out, remember, viewers, and said this sale is okay. We're a democracy, we're an open society. We're not a theocracy. Rashid Alvi of the Congress says BJP wants to do everything to hurt Muslim sentiments. What affection does BJP have for Salman Rushdie? It's not the BJP that is selling this book, viewers. It is ordinary book retailers. In Delhi, one of the most famous ones in Khan Market. And viewers, the courts have said, please go ahead. It's the High Court. Tanveer Sadiq, National Conference, Omar Abdullah's party. In the name of secularism, religious sentiments can't be targeted. In order to maintain civil society, we must keep the ban. Waris Pathan, MIM leader, Owaisi's party, all viewers who swear by the constitution, these people, don't forget. He says this will raise communal tensions across the country, threats against Muslims rising across India. Again, viewers, threat, playing on fears, trying to work up Muslims, violence. These are the dog whistles. In November, the Delhi High Court had given, as I told you, the go-ahead to sell the book in India after imports of the book were banned by Rajiv Gandhi government under pressure from Muslim hardliners in 1989. It bears repetition that numerous allegorical works, books, films on Hindu faith, questioning and sometimes even lampooning its fundamentals and deities have been published or released in this country. But the ecosystem that is campaigning for Muslims today never had a problem with some representations that have irked Hindus. Why Am I Not a Hindu by Kancha Elias Shepherd. The book tried to differentiate between Dalits and Hindus. Viewers, Hindus felt upset. They said, listen, this should be banned. But viewers, the ecosystem said, no, it shouldn't be. We're an open society. We believe in dialogue. Let there be a critical evaluation of the Hindu way of life. Chamatkar Ko Namaskar by Rakesh Nath. The description says that every Hindu guru and saint has invented fake miracles to further their own commercial interests. So basically, they're all dhongis, fakes, frauds. Obviously, a lot of those followers, viewers were upset of these various people who were catalogued. But again, the book wasn't banned because it's great to have information out there that can empower the masses, make them more aware. The Hindus and Alternative History protest forced the publisher to withdraw the book by academics, started a petition to bring the book back. Udayanidhi Stalin slandered Sanatan Dharma, calling for its eradication because it was a disease like dengue and malaria. His remarks were normalized as challenging anti-Brahminical hegemony. SP and RJD leaders went on a spree demanding a ban on Ramcharitmanas. No censure in the interest of fighting casteism. But viewers, here a book comes out and the same ecosystem that talks about all these other virtues for discussing attacks on the Hindu faith, criticism of the Hindu faith says, no, Muslim sentiments are being hurt, ban this book. Viewers, I mean, the standards, the double standards. In Amir Khan's PK, Lord Shiva is depicted cowering under a chair when Khan chases him. No deletions in the film despite demands. In Three Idiots, again with Amir Khan in the lead, the Hindu character is depicted as reliant on superstitions and occult, while characters of the two other religions are not. They are progressive. There's several examples, and I can quote one after the other. It'll probably take me the whole evening where these double standards have applied. On many occasions, the Hindu community has objected to these negative and hurtful portrayals. Calls for bans have been made. Ironically, the same ecosystem that is ultra sensitive to Muslim feelings have criticized these calls as being against the interest of free speech. The duplicity in approach prompts some very hard questions, and I'm going to put them on your screens, viewers, on the side so you can go over them. There it is one. By echoing calls for a ban, isn't the opposition exhibiting hypocrisy over free speech? You have no problem with books that attack Hinduism. They must be published to further free speech. But here, Salman Rushdie's book you want to ban because it hurts Muslim sensitivities? Isn't it curious that the ecosystem that defends criticism of Hindu faith is going extra mile to protect Muslim feelings? Are Muslim feelings above and beyond constitutionally guaranteed right to free speech? Viewers, these are some basic fundamental questions, and I want to open this up. But before that, I want to start our conversation with our principal guest here, who we are going to go to, Mr. Kanchan Gupta, Senior Advisor to the INB Ministry. Now, we also will have Pradeep Bhandari with us and others, Mr. Iyer, as well as a academic from the Muslim side of the fence. Now, Mr. Gupta, how do you react to the demands being made by the ecosystem to ban the sale of Rushdie's satanic verses?
Hi Rahul, thank you for inviting me
Good evening,
to your show.
Yeah.
I have no doubts at all that those who are talking about the satanic verses today, they have either read the book or they know what the book has to say about any religion, leave alone Islam. So to sort of, create a perception, I mean, you give a dog a bad name and you hang him. That is what was done with the satanic verses after it was published in 1988. Now, we all know how, the book was published on 26th September 1988 in England. And it was proscribed, quote unquote, proscribed in India on 5th of October 1988, which is less than 10 days. Within that time, the book had not gone on sale in India. Some advance copies had been received by Penguin India. And I happen to know about this particular part of the story because I was with the Statesman those days, and Penguin India had sent me a copy for review and extract purposes. Now, one of the copies landed up with Khushwant Singh, who was a director or advisor or whatever with Penguin India those days. And Khushwant Singh promptly sent a letter to Rajiv Gandhi to not allow the sale of this book. So he was in fact someone who had posited himself all his life as a free speech champion. The same Khushwant Singh wanted Rajiv Gandhi to proscribe the book, and the book was proscribed very curiously by an order which disallowed its import. So if it could not be imported, it could not be sold here. That was how it was done.
Right.
Now, more than 30 years later, the courts, when they asked the government to produce the relevant documents which prohibited the import of the book, those documents could not be produced. Customs should have had those documents, but they failed to produce them in court. Now, this has only two meanings. One, there never really was a on paper prohibition or proscription of this book. It was just a fatwa that was issued orally, and it was followed blindly. A larger point is that if you look at books being banned in this country, books and films, they have always been done on the recommendation of the Latvians cabal. Now, if you look at the books being banned during Nehru's time, the Latvians cabal went to him and said, let's ban this book, let's ban this play, let's ban this movie. Then comes Indira Gandhi. Upul Jayakar and company would advise her kitchen cabinet, so-called kitchen cabinet, on what to allow and what not to allow. During the UPA era, when Sonia Gandhi was the super PM, the same thing happened. I think there was a film called The Last Temptation of Christ.
Yeah.
And it was the same Latvians cabal which went
Said
and
yes.
told her to ban the film. So when you talk of the ecosystem, the same ecosystem now has woken up to the reality of the book being sold in India for the first time.
Well, Mr. Gupta, thank you very much for putting this into perspective for us. A lot of things we didn't know, viewers. This happened many, many years ago. Let's open this up. Thank you, Mr. Gupta, for giving us this perspective. Let's open this up. Let me go straight across to Atikur Rahman and, of course, Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Atikur Rahman, I don't understand this threat of violence. Why would anyone become violent? I've given a whole list of movies, books, songs, etc. that have come out, which have lampooned the Hindu faith, their deities, etc. No Hindu has resorted to violence. We haven't seen people being pulled and their necks and heads been chopped off or blinded or stabbed. Nothing has happened like that. In fact, if there has been an attack, it was on the writer of Lajja or Shame, who today is in exile and lives in Bengal, and she was attacked by the MIM. So, what is this threat of violence that is? We are an open society, inclusive society, where ideas are constantly examined, critically also. That's what makes us a democracy. That's what you love about this country. That's what I hear from the ecosystem day in and day out. Yet, you're invoking the threat of violence. Aren't you ashamed?
Rahul, my rationale for not endorsing the satanic verses does not stems out from any reason other than it misrepresents history, a historical
One second. Mr. Atikur Rahman, hang on. Just a minute here. Is England a democracy or is it not a democracy? Do they have Muslims living in England or not? And in Europe for that matter. Are there democracies there or are they all some banana republics? Because the book was available there. There were Muslims living there too who didn't say these things. They read those books.
Rahul, there is always a tug of war between the orthodox elements in our community and the liberal.
Well, tell them to pipe down, because that's the lecture you constantly give the Hindu community. Tell your fringe to keep quiet, put them in jail. Well, put your fringe in jail.
Rahul, I am not here to make any tug of war between the Hindus and the Muslims.
Neither am I. But you can't have two different standards. You can't say that no, that fringe is bonkers and that fringe needs to be put in jail and my fringe, no, we must listen to our fringe, because you see, our fringe has sensitivities. What nonsense is this, Mr. Atikur Rahman? It doesn't sound right.
You are not allowing me to speak, Rahul.
Please tell me, sir. Please tell me.
Thank you. Rahul, I am not telling that Salman Rushdie does not have the freedom of speech and expression. I would rather say that Charlie Hebdo had all the right to make a cartoon because he had that freedom. But Salman Rushdie cannot misrepresent history. He misrepresented an incident quoting the Quran. That's what's objectionable.
Okay, I don't think you have any idea about what this book is. Let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Mr. Mitra, can you educate this gentleman who's shooting his mouth off? He's making this into a historical novel. Can you believe it?
Now, leave aside the ridiculousness of banning anything that misrepresents anything, because that just doesn't happen. Anybody is free to misrepresent whatever they want, and you have the freedom to come counter it. You don't ask for a ban. If you read the kind of sexualized nonsense Wendy Doniger has written about our gods, have we banned that book in this country? No. Have you read the kind of crap that whack job from Rutgers, Audrey Trash something has written about Shivaji and Aurangzeb? Have we banned that book? No, we haven't. So what is this setting the historical record straight? Let us be very clear here. The threat is being made of violence. That is the clearest thing. If you do not ban this book, he will go around coming
Sir,
beheading.
1 second, Mr. Rahman. He never interrupted you.
Atik, you are
Sir,
the
did he
last
interrupt you? He
person-
didn't interrupt you. Let him finish.
Atik, you are the last person that has a right to talk about this. You insulted my gods on TV, and when Nupur Sharma responded to you, she is in fear of her life. You keep quiet. You have absolutely no right to talk about this subject. You of all people need to be banned if the same criteria is applied on you. You should be banned from TV. You should be banned from this country. So keep quiet. Next.
Atikur Saab, 1 second. Please have some patience. Let him finish. You can't shout down everybody, sir. You can't threaten violence at everybody, please.
What is the threat here? It is of beheading, it is of riots, it is of communal
I'm not
violence.
calling for a ban.
Imagine after
I'm not saying that you are, but can you
after
please keep
30
quiet and
years-
listen to him?
After 30 years, what happened to the author sitting in New York?
Yeah, stabbed.
One of the comes about, stabs him.
Okay, I have to lower your fader. Sorry, Mr. Atikur Rahman. This is not fair. I'm lowering his fader. Please, this is not fair. I asked you to let him finish. You can respond. I'm not running away. Have some sense of decorum. Yes.
And after 30 years, they remembered and tried to kill him. Do you remember what happened to Kamlesh Tiwari?
Yeah.
He was first he was put in jail.
The translator
After
of this
he came
book
out,
was killed.
He was
The
then
Japanese translator was killed of this book.
killed. Of everything. So understand, it is a open, brazen threat to kill you, to murder you in the most sadistic, disgusting ways. And that is the only way they prevent their own, the flaws of their own philosophy and their beliefs from getting exposed.
Okay, the first thing is this is an allegory, viewers. This is not a historical document. It's a novel, for God's sakes. It's a novel. Anyhow, Mr. Bhandari. Yes, sir, yes, I can see your impassioned pleas on a poster. But please, I'll come to you. Mr. Bhandari, I want to ask you. You see, this has been set up now by this community as a test. And I'm not talking about the entire Muslim community, thankfully, but a bunch of people, the ecosystem, the Lutyens ecosystem, call it what you want to, and some political parties, a test for your Sabka Saath commitment. They say, if you're so concerned about Muslim welfare, well, our sentiments are being hurt, so you'll ban the book. That's the arm twisting that they're doing. Are you going to respond to this and say, yes, we will ban the book?
Well, Rahul, a group of few does not represent the entire Muslim community. And a group which threatens violence, murders, cannot dictate the government to ban or not ban. We believe in free speech and we believe in following the court's order. The fact of the matter is it's the Delhi High Court which has allowed for the book to be out there in the stores in the country. So the government here will not act and ban the book. This is something which I can assure you, point number one. Point number two, I want to draw a larger point. The larger point here, Rahul, is which is this entire group of radicals which suddenly get irritated, suddenly start threatening, suddenly say that they will take the rule of law in their own hand. They believe that if a Shobha Yatra passes through their mohalla, stone throwing starts happening. They believe that if a mandir is being dug, a mandir which has been excavated for years, suddenly the communal harmony of Sambal gets distorted. Which is that group which suddenly starts feeling so insecure when the truth starts coming out? This is what we need to answer here, and that is what Mr. Atikur Rahman needs to answer, that the right to know truth and right to peace is something which is fundamental to a democratic process.
There you
we
go.
are not Taliban where we can selectively
Mr. Rahman, respond please.
law.
Atikur Sahab, respond. And also viewers, please read the book Knife. It is a meditation on the attack by Salman Rushdie where he responds to these madcaps. Please read it. It's a brilliant book. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Pradeep, that's why I told you earlier that I am against any ban, a book for a book, and that is why Dr. Rafiq Zakaria, my mentor, I was the research assistant, we gave a book to Salman Rushdie, Muhammad and the Quran, explaining Salman Rushdie where he was wrong. The satanic verses which he quotes in the book, Rahul, still exist in the Quran. The chapter is the chapter, the word. So where is the question of Salman Rushdie being right there.
Sir,
He
can I
says
say
that
something to
the
you?
road
With
was
all,
crooked.
with all due, you're barking up the wrong tree. Can I say something, sir, with your permission? It is a novel. It's an allegory. It is not a history. Please understand the difference, sir.
That's why Dr. Rafiq Zakaria quoted him that this is not the ugly fashion of right and allegory and just mistreat history. Pradeep will
Oh
say
gosh.
that he
Okay.
endorsed now
I don't think,
the
viewers, look, there's no point having a discussion with people who want to go by the book, excuse the pun, and others who want to let the flight of their imagination speak for them. There is a fundamental disconnect here. And it tells you that that represents a very tunnel, narrow vision. In democracies, if you start having a monotheistic thought, we're done for. That is not a democracy, that's a conformity, viewers. That is like being in a fascist state with the forever impending threat of violence. I'll leave it at this, viewers. Palki Sharma coming up. Big news coming in also. Former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh admitted to the ICU. Extreme breathlessness is the cause.
Presented by
Young cricketer Sam Constas taking it all in his stride. Vineet Ramakrishnan from Cricket Next joins us for more on this new controversy. Vineet, interesting, you know, it's a classic Boxing Day match with the pressures extremely high. Now tell us all about that mid-shoulder bump which is under scrutiny. Was it deliberate? Was there a heated exchange? What happened?
You know, it was a heated exchange for sure, and before the actual incident happened, there was going a bit of banter between Virat Kohli and the other fielders to Sam Constas. The exact actual incident happened between the 10th and the 11th over, and as you can see here on the screen, Virat Kohli, between the change of overs between 10th and 11th, you know, was changing over, walking, you know, towards the other end. You could pretty much see that he was, you know, deliberately, in a way, you know, changed his path and, you know, got into a physical confrontation with Sam Constas. And anything, you know, in cricket, anything, be it verbal sly or any jibe, until unless it is not physical, it's not an issue, and it's all part of the sledging. But once it happens, once this physical confrontation happens, it becomes an issue, and it would go to the match referee. Sanctions could be there. You know, you could be looking at you know, a level 2 offence. It could be, you know, if the match referees and the umpires reported, it could be a level 2 offence which could lead to 2 demerit points, which may again, it's not something, it will be very you know, serious for Virat Kohli, because 4 demerit points means that he could be suspended for the next game, and Virat Kohli, remember, he has not had a demerit point since 2019, so this could very much lead to a demerit point. And as you can see in the visuals, you know, Virat Kohli's it was quite deliberate, that was the change of path there. You know, it was something that he wanted.
You know how it is, you know, when India take on the Aussies. Interestingly, the Test legend Ricky Ponting insists that Virat Kohli did this deliberately. So what happens from here on, and what are the repercussions for Virat Kohli if it is found that this action was indeed intentional and was deliberate against Sam?
As you said, it's not an out of character stuff from Virat Kohli. When, you know, for the Indian team things don't work out with the ball, I mean, the fielders try to bring in some pressure. So this was kind of a pressure tactic, you could see. But as I said, until and unless it is something which is not physical confrontation as such, it's all part and parcel of the game. But when it comes to that physical confrontation, it becomes an issue. And regarding the repercussions, as I said earlier, level 2 offence this could be if the umpires, on-field umpires, report it to the match referee. Level 2 offence carries a suspension points and you know, match fees, also 50% to 100% match fees could be gone, or it could lead to 2 suspension points as well, to 2 demerit points. And remember, 4 demerit points is where at a stage a player could be, you know, banned or could be benched for the coming test match or maybe the coming international match. So in this case, it could very well be the least or the maximum could be just 2 demerit points. But then again, you know, this is not something, it would be very serious where Virat Kohli would be missing the game. But in the game of cricket, you don't want to see these kind of physical confrontation. And as I said, the sledges could very well be, it's all part and parcel of the game until and unless it is not physical. And you could pretty much see from the screen, it was very deliberate from Virat Kohli trying to put the young opener under pressure, and it did not work as well. Right immediately after that over, Sam Constance really went after the bowlers, and he got 16 of 65 deliveries in the end. So it didn't really work out for Virat Kohli and Team India. It could have been, look, if this was a case where Sam Constance loses his focus and gotten out in the next over, we all would have been praising for Virat Kohli to manufacturing that wicket. But in this case, it did not work out, and of course this would definitely go to the match referee, and it could lead to demerit points, a minimum of 2 at least for Virat Kohli.
That's true. And Vineet, these are all tactics that we've seen over the years, how cricketers also tend to intimidate the other player, and this one is a debutant. He's a young player. What I found very fascinating is that he actually admires Virat Kohli. He is Virat Kohli's biggest fan. I wanted to understand from you that while you were speaking, this question arose in my mind, that when that shoulder bump happened, was it followed by a heated exchange of words between the two players?
Yes, of course. Sam Constance, before he made his debut, he in many press conferences did say that Virat Kohli is his favorite Indian player, one of his ideals as well, and he in a way, very maturely has brushed down the entire episode, to the national broadcasters he spoke about, and he said, it's all part of the game, whatever stays on the field remains on the field. So really good from a young 19-year-old to come up with a statement like that. And for him it's well, for 60 of 65, it was a dream debut for him, so he really doesn't want to put the focus on what happened, that incident. He wants to, enjoy the moment, and he pretty much did. 60 of 65, as I said, really one of the only batters to really take on Jasprit Bumrah in this entire series so far. So yeah, he really brushing down this incident, and for a 19-year-old, it's a good gesture for him, to be honest.
Indeed. Young cricketer Sam Constance taking it all in his stride. Vineet.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post, and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. We begin with China tonight, where the army is losing its top generals, not at the hands of an enemy, but thanks to their own president. In the last 2 years, he's fired some 30 top officials in the Chinese military, including 2 defense ministers, maybe a third one too. Why is Xi Jinping doing this? And what does this purge mean for the PLA? We'll bring you the full story. In Pakistan, will Imran Khan be finally released from jail? We ask because Donald Trump's team is pushing for it, and the Pakistani government is